Hi, beautiful girl. If you currently don't have a high quality man and the relationship that you want, then I got you. I've got your back because we're going to go on a journey to help you figure out how to do that and how to really be the best person you want to be to attract that man. In order to attract high quality men, we need to become a high value woman that is highly desirable to that man, right? And high value men, when they're dating, they're always asking themselves, who is she, right? And you want to start paying attention to who are you under a variety of different circumstances. How do you think? How do you behave? How do you represent yourself? Because this is really important. He is always going to be looking for that and trying to figure that out. So one of those scenarios is when a man starts to pull away. I would definitely categorize that under a stressful situation. I've definitely been there. A lot of women tend to have a lot of drama about this. They tend to freak out a lot about this. And I just want to clarify what I mean when I say when a man starts to pull away. So if you've been seeing a man for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, a certain period of time, there is no exclusivity or anything, but you're really starting to emotionally invest in him. You're starting to feel certain that there could be some kind of future with him and that he really sees you in his future. And then all of a sudden, something changes. He starts to cancel plans. He starts to say he's busy. There's a lot going on in his life, making excuses why he can't meet you, can't talk to you as much. And he literally feels like he's pulling away from us. A lot of women under this circumstance will start to question and wonder, okay, what is wrong? What has happened, right? They start spinning in their mind about what's happening and what's wrong and why is he doing this? And is he into me or is he not into me? Okay, and when you start having all of those questions in your head and thinking those thoughts, a lot of us end up feeling a lot of anxiety in our body, and that anxiety stays contained and trapped in our body, and it starts to accumulate the longer this situation goes on. And then when the man does come back and acts like everything is normal, a lot of times we just end up exploding on him and just unleashing that energy, that negative energy onto him, which is clearly not going to be ideal. A lot of men are then at that point scared off and probably thinking to themselves, you know, phew, I dodged a bullet. She's clearly a bit crazy, right? So I don't think you in that circumstance is really representing yourself properly there. That is just you being anxious about this particular situation. And really your reaction is a misrepresentation of who you really are, because that is you, not really you showing up the best way you can in that situation. So I wanted to give you some steps and a strategy and some tips on how to handle this, what to do if a man starts to pull away. Step number 1, don't resist, just accept. Most of us, our default here is to want to resist. And resistance looks like arguing with reality. And it could also look like literally arguing with him. You know, when you are in that argumentative, combative kind of stance, that emotion, then you're probably arguing with reality. Resistance also looks like wishing it was different, wanting it to be different, comparing what is to what used to be and despairing about that. Thinking to yourself, he shouldn't do this. He should communicate. He should just tell me the truth, right? When we start to think that way, you're probably resisting. You're resisting the situation instead of accepting, right? So what does accepting look like? Accepting is if a man is not texting you, not asking to see you, not engaging with you, it simply means he doesn't want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, allow that to be okay. Acceptance is allowing a man to pull away. Acceptance is allowing a man to not give you any answers. A lot of times we want him to give us an answer because we think the answer will make us feel certain, right? Certain about the future, give us an impression of the future so we can plan, so we can feel certain. Instead, I want you to practice feeling certain on your own. We don't need him to give us a feeling to make us feel certain. You can give yourself the feeling of certainty. And I would say one of the hallmarks of being a high value woman is that she knows how to create certainty in her body on her own, regardless of what is happening externally. Okay, so someone who is certain about themselves, is confident, is solid, right? Is unwavering in their self, in what they're capable of, in what their future holds. And you have to practice that emotion. You have to practice stepping into that and really ask yourself, like, how can I feel certain right now? What can I do to feel certain right now? What can I think and focus on to feel certain right now, right? To make yourself, to feed yourself that certainty and that confidence in yourself. Acceptance also doesn't feel very good, okay? Acceptance can look like moving into feeling disappointment, feeling loss, okay? Loss of what could have been, being disappointed at your expectations not being met, right? That disappointment, that being let down. Acceptance could also feel, to some of you, feel like defeat, feel like giving up, okay? And I'm here to tell you it's not that. It's simply you accepting reality. That if a man is not texting you, not engaging with you, it simply means he doesn't want to, and it's okay. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Step number 2, remind yourself that there are plenty of high quality men in the world waiting to meet you. And what is so great about him disappearing and pulling away is now he is making room, making space for another man to come in, and in particular, mostly your mental space, right? He's making room in your mind so another man can come in. A lot of you don't want to do that, right? And a lot of you want to cling onto this one and obsess and think about this guy because you believe he is special. You believe high quality men are rare and they're hard to find. And if you find one, you've got to like hold on to him. You need to figure it out with him because a chance like this doesn't come very often. Now, I want to offer that, first of all, that's not true. There are plenty of high quality men in the world, right? And thinking that way isn't going to serve you when he is pulling away. Because what does that do? It gets you straight into scarcity mentality and it makes you feel needy and clingy and desperate because you think he is it, right? I need to figure it out with him because there's nobody else. And when you believe that, you will think and obsess only about him, which makes it come true. It makes it true that he is the only one because you don't notice anyone else. There's no way another man could enter your mental space and for you to even pay attention to because your brain is only filled with him. So you make it come true. So instead, I want you to focus on believing that there are plenty of high quality men in the world and the universe is abundant full of great men. And if it doesn't work out with this one, it's okay because he is making space for another one to come in. The universe will serve you another one, you get another chance. And there is actually an infinite amount of chances. Just look at the universe, right? Everything in the universe is abundant. There is never just one thing in the universe. There's just never just one of something. There is an abundance of things in the universe. And if you struggle to believe that, think about it this way. If there is one quality man in the world, then there has to be two, right? And if there's two quality men in the world, it has to be three. And if there's three, there has to be four, and so on and so forth. So I want you to practice thinking that and believing that because you know it's true, right? You know you have met more than one high quality man in the world. Even if you weren't in a relationship with that person, that could just be a friend. That could just be a colleague or a boss or, a girlfriend's, friend or whatever, right? You have met great men in the world. You just need to practice believing that because in this particular situation, it doesn't serve you at all. Step number 3, take responsibility for your happiness. We forget this when a great man comes into our life and it seems like every time he sends us a text message, we get that dopamine hit, right? Of like those good feelings, when he sends us a message, when he compliments us, when he, says something that feels really good, we start to associate happiness with him, okay? And I want to offer that when a man starts to pull away is the best time to remind yourself that you're in control of your happiness. He is not responsible for how you feel. And if you think he needs to make you happy, that it's his job to make you happy, then you don't deserve him. High quality men don't want to be with a woman that they think will just like crumble and fall apart if they just stepped away for a minute, right? He wants to know you're solid, you're secure within yourself. You know how to take care of yourself even if he went away for a minute, right? He disappeared or he was busy with something else, right? He wants to know you can actually handle yourself, right? Not just like crumble and fall apart just because he's not messaging you quick enough. Okay, so this is the best time to practice this. Remind yourself why you are in control of your happiness. What can you do to make yourself feel good? How can you make yourself feel happy right now? What can you do? What are some things that you have stopped doing that you can start doing that used to make you feel good that you can do now? Okay, what can you say to yourself? How can you take care of how you feel about yourself and what you say to yourself? Like, how are you talking to yourself? How are you treating yourself? Like, what are some things you are doing that can make you feel good, just to remind yourself that you are in control of your happiness. Step number 4 is to practice this. This may not be the most conventional step. I think a lot of people assume that you're either attractive and you know how to be attractive and be highly desirable, or you just don't, and that's just the way it is. But being desirable is a skill. It's not something we are all born with, okay? You have to learn it, you have to practice it, and then you master it and it becomes second nature. And this is a skill that anybody can develop through practice, through repetition. And when a man pulls away, that is the best time to practice allowing and accepting and taking care of yourself. A high value woman never forces men in. Okay, they don't have to control or force or demand, right? They know, it's almost like they have that magical ability to lure men in because they understand how to allow and accept, which doesn't appear like anything, but it's actually extremely powerful, and it's something that you have to practice in order to really get. So don't be scared off by dating because men pull away. Men pulling away is not a sign of anything going wrong. It's just a thing that happens. It's actually a very normal part of dating, and men will do this. You want to practice it. You want to look forward to it almost as an opportunity to practice. Step number 1, don't resist, just accept. Step number 2, remind yourself there are plenty of high quality men in the world. Step number 3, take responsibility for your own happiness. And the last step, step number 4, is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's how we get better. That's how we become highly, highly desirable to high quality men. That's it from me this week. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week, ladies. I will talk to you real soon.